Now, I'm not quite 30. However, approaching this milestone made me think of what I would recommend to my clients who are looking to feel their best and achieve their wellness goals going into their 30s. Today, I'm breaking down the 30 healthy habits that you should be implementing in order to feel your best and achieve your goals in your 30s. All right, guys, if you're new to my channel and you don't know who I am, my name's Autumn and I'm a certified clinical nutritionist with my master's nutrition human performance. On my channel, I'm typically talking about the science-backed and holistic methods that you can use in order to achieve your wellness dreams. So if you have a wellness goal in mind, make sure you subscribe. Now, a lot of these habits are going to be centered around the overall goals that I hear from my clients who are in their 30s or who are approaching their 30s. And these include improved fertility, weight loss, as well as improved mental health or anxiety. Now, each of these healthy habits are very simple action steps that you can implement right now to feel better in your 30s than you ever did in your 20s. And even if you are already 30 or perhaps older, these strategies can still apply. So let's jump into the first healthy habit. Quit sugary lattes. Now, a vanilla latte from a lot of places that all of us know and love, like Starbucks, for example, has around 30 to 40 grams of added sugar. Now, this one actually affects each of those main goals that I had mentioned previously because this massive amount of sugar causes that big spike in blood glucose and then that dip. The dip in blood glucose is what causes anxiety to spur. In fact, low blood sugar or hypoglycemia often has anxiety as a common symptom. This really big spike also causes a big spike in the hormone insulin, which is our storing hormone. The higher this is, the more our body will be in more of that fat storing mode. Plus, when it comes to fertility, one of the main problems that a lot of women encounter when they're having fertility issues is insulin resistance. In fact, PCOS, one of the hallmark signs of PCOS is insulin resistance. And the more that you have your insulin raised, especially from having these higher sugar types of foods like a sugary vanilla latte, is going to increase your body's resistance to insulin. Number 2, incorporate high quality salt. Fear of salt really mostly comes around the fear of high blood pressure. But there have been quite a few studies that have found that by even decreasing the amount of salt to what's recommended, which is roughly 2,400 milligrams, which is a small amount of salt, has very little and insignificant effects on your blood pressure. In fact, it really only drops it by perhaps 2 to 3 points, which is nothing compared to what high blood pressure is. On the flip side, not including high quality salt sources can actually be pretty detrimental to our health. We need sodium for literally every single nerve transmission in your body. And in case we've forgotten, our brain and the nerves that flow through our system control everything. So if that's not working, nothing is working. We also need sodium to balance our electrolytes. It's one of our main electrolyte sources, especially if you're working out and you're losing a lot of that sodium through sweat, or if you live in a hot environment where you are sweating often. Incorporating high quality Celtic sea salt, which is my preferred type of sea salt, is essential. Number 3, stop doing 2-a-days. Unless you're an elite athlete or a very competitive athlete where it is your job to work out and recover, the rest of us don't have the time to incorporate 2 workouts a day as well as the recovery that needs to accompany that. This can lead to continuous muscle breakdown rather than recovery, so you're not going to achieve your fitness goals that you're looking for. Plus, it can cause your body to have consistently elevated levels of the stress hormone cortisol. And not only is that really bad for our mental health, it's also really taxing on our body. And if weight loss is something you're looking for, having that higher amount of cortisol can lead to weight gain around the belly. Number 4, don't waste your money on supplements. This isn't to say supplements are useless. There's certainly a time and a place where they can be very effective. But very often I see that people start to use supplements before addressing other concerns that are more pressing. And if you don't address these other concerns first that are daily factors such as your diet or your lifestyle, it's kind of like spraying a water gun at a house that's on fire. So first addressing your food, first addressing those daily stressors, first addressing your activity level is all essential before you can even consider using supplements to then bolster these activities. Number 5, add 10 to 30 minutes to your morning to ease into the day. Now, this is a huge game changer, especially if you're looking for that natural hormone balance or improved mental state. Now, it doesn't have to be a long time, but having that 10 to 30 minutes a day where it's just for you to ease into the day, to stretch, to read, to do yoga, to work out, to go for a walk, whatever it is that you need in order to ease into the day, helps to make it so that you can go into the day on the right foot and not feel anxious or stressed. Number 6, stop counting calories, especially if weight loss is your goal. Now, I have a ton of videos and a whole playlist that goes over the concept of losing weight without counting calories, and I'll have that playlist listed down below because this is a very lengthy topic. But one logical way to think about this is that we literally went thousands of years without ever having to count a single calorie, and that's when we weren't overweight or obese. So clearly we have natural mechanisms within our body that tells us when we're done eating. But like I mentioned, that is a whole topic in itself, so I do have a whole playlist I'll link down below. Number 7, eat fats. Now this can be a little taboo, but fats actually help to keep us satiated, which is an essential part of helping us achieve a weight loss goal. Fats help to stabilize that blood glucose level, which is really important for making sure that insulin, remember that storing hormone, doesn't get too high. Some of my favorite fats include daily are olives, avocado, grass-fed butter, and of course nuts and seeds. Number 8, switch to mold-free coffee. Now this one was personally a huge game changer for myself, which is why I'm so active about talking about this one. Now, if you struggle with anxiety, this is something that you really want to pay attention to, because although caffeine can cause that sense of fight or flight in many people, another big factor when it comes to anxiety are mold and mold toxins that are often in coffee. And these mold toxins can shift us into that state of fight or flight that makes it so that we're in a state of anxiety as well. I personally only use Purity because it's the only one that does not induce anxiety for me. There are some other brands that also test for mold, but the only one that I really trust is Purity. So if you're interested in them, I'll also have that link down below, and I have a discount code with them that you can use too. Number 9, stop weighing yourself every day. Daily fluctuation is a real thing. Depending on the time of month or your stress levels or even what you ate the day before, your body could be retaining more or less water. And this has nothing to do with actual fat loss. So by weighing yourself every day, you're seeing those fluctuations that can be a really big stressor on your mental health. And remember, stress can also lead to weight gain around the belly. So instead of weighing yourself every day and putting that stress of seeing those daily inevitable fluctuations, try weighing yourself at most once a week. However, once every 2 weeks, I would say is a better system. And that will allow you to see the trends and make sure that you're going on the right path. And that's if you even choose to use a scale. Some people do great with just not using any type of scale and judging it off how they feel and how their clothes are fitting. Number 10, don't watch TV before bed. And this doesn't just include TV, it's also your cell phone, your laptop, or any other real electronic. The light that is produced from these electronics disrupts our natural melatonin, our sleep hormone production, and this leads to poor sleep quality, which also causes increased stress levels. Remember, increased stress hormone of cortisol the next day. So not only is this not ideal for weight loss, but it's also not great for hormone balance, and that increased stress level causes increased anxiety as well. A good rule of thumb for this is to just stop watching TV or using your electronics at least 30 minutes before bed. Number 11, drink a little less. Although there have been some studies that have found a small amount of alcohol per week can actually have some health benefits or perhaps just even be okay for you, higher amounts can have some serious long-term consequences, especially if you're looking to get pregnant. And it's not just because of the fetal alcohol syndrome, which of course is not a good thing. It's also because alcohol or increased alcohol intakes can cause that increased insulin resistance too. And remember, that's a huge factor when it comes to infertility and PCOS. Depending on the individual, the amount of alcohol that you are okay with for your body will vary greatly, but a good rule of thumb is stick to 1 to 3 glasses per week. Number 12, don't cut calories. This kind of goes back to not tracking calories, but cutting calories, aka being in that state of semi-starvation long term, can actually have a really big negative impact on fertility as well. And this makes sense because our body is really smart, and if it senses that there's not enough food in the environment that can support the growth of a child, then it's first going to try and preserve you rather than focusing its efforts on making a baby. Now, this isn't to say to binge on foods. Of course, the quality food is what really matters, but consistently cutting calories, consistently being that semi-starvation state does not help either. And if you are looking to lose weight without counting calories, I have a really great video you can check out right here. Number 13, cut out protein bars. If you are not new to my channel, you've heard me say this a lot. Protein bars are one of the most clever marketing schemes I've ever seen. Now, this is talking about the vast majority of protein bars. There's some that aren't bad, but still the concept is not going to help you achieve your goals. Now, somehow the food industry was able to package things like tapioca syrup and brown rice syrup into a health food. I mean, seriously, check out some of your favorite different protein bars. I guarantee you sugar of some sort is one of the first 3 ingredients. If you're looking to achieve the benefits of that stable blood glucose level and the decreased insulin response that goes along with it, cut these cleverly marketed candy bars out. Number 14, get smart with your heart tests. Now, this is not a healthy habit, but it's still really important. It's something that will affect your healthy habits down the line. Relying on outdated information can just lead to outdated protocols. And make sure you stay up to date on the best possible tests that actually predict heart disease. I also have a full breakdown of the various heart health tests that you can check out right here. Number 15, use high quality protein sources. Protein is essential to maintain satiety, to help heal your body, to repair your muscles, to make hormones, to make cells, as well as burn fat as fuel. So remember, satiety is an essential aspect of actually being able to tap into fat burning mechanisms. That's why it's important that you're providing your body with the highest quality protein sources that you can. Now, if you're using animal products, look for grass-fed, grass-finished beef, as well as organic all across the line and wild-caught fish. If you're using the plant-based approach, just make sure that you're getting complete protein sources, as well as using the organic organic, non-GMO versions of things like beans. Now, speaking of protein, number 16, don't rely just on protein powder as your main protein source. And that can be easy to do, especially with the types of foods that are available right now. Now, admittedly, this one is based more on a hunch than scientific evidence because quite frankly, we don't have an extended scientific history of using protein powders or a highly refined type of protein as a complete alternative to a whole protein source. Now, using protein powder as the supplement that it's intended to be, like in one meal a day, for example with smoothies, should be fine. But I would caution against relying on protein powder or protein powder based foods as your main protein source. So this means looking into the foods like the Beyond Beef, because it essentially just is pea protein powder that's formed into a patty, and considering how much of this highly refined protein you really want to be using in your day. Number 17, limit HIIT or high intensity interval training workouts to 2 to 3 times per week. Now this comes down to hormone balance, because HIIT workouts are really great for that improved heart rate variability, but it also requires a little bit more rest than we would think. Including more than that 2 to 3 HIIT workouts in a week is probably not enough rest time in order to actually recover from those HIIT workouts. Because if you don't get the proper rest, remember that can actually lead to increased cortisol, that stress hormone. And by increasing that cortisol, that can lead to issues with hormone imbalance, as well as the anxiety, as well as the issues with weight gain around the belly. Number 18, try some more natural approaches to anxiety reduction. Natural help with anxiety is not limited to just yoga and meditation. In fact, that just simply didn't work for me. Really tried, but it wasn't helpful. So if you tried that in the past and didn't work for you either, know that there are other natural approaches that you can still play around with. Some really great ones include L-theanine or hemp oil, as well as more proactive approaches such as sugar reduction and daily journaling. I also have a playlist on natural anxiety reduction that you can check out, and I'll have it linked below as well. Number 19, don't fear eggs. We used to fear eggs because of cholesterol. Now we know that dietary cholesterol actually isn't an issue. Eggs are a ridiculously amazing source of choline that is needed to help break down fat as fuel, as well as for brain health. So don't fear daily egg scramble. Just make sure it's a whole egg, not the egg whites. Number 20, incorporate a treat meal once a week. Studies have found that including one scheduled treat meal per week actually is really helpful for helping you stay on track long-term with your wellness goals. And that's what we're looking for, right? Is long-term results, not just short-term yo-yoing. A key to these treat meals is to make sure that it's scheduled and that it's something you love. I personally love a really great thin crust pizza, so that's typically my go-to treat meal. Number 21, walk more. Not only will this help with tapping into fat burning mechanisms, it also aids in reducing that stress hormone cortisol, which is why it's particularly great for that natural hormone balance and reducing stress. Number 22, have water before you have your coffee. When you wake up, you're naturally in a dehydrated state. And this makes sense. You just went 8 hours without drinking anything and with breathing all night and letting water out. And coffee provides some amount of hydration, but it still has a diuretic effect because of the caffeine. So to make sure you start off in a hydrated state, always opt to have that full glass of water before you have your coffee, and maybe sneak in a little Celtic sea salt too. Number 23, make as many meals at home as possible. Now, if you're approaching 30, you might be having some ideas of saving for a house or saving for future kids' college funds. And not only does making meals at home help with saving money so you can achieve those financial goals, it also allows you to have more control over your meals and therefore a better grasp on achieving your wellness goals. And it doesn't have to be every night. Any amount of addition that you can have of making meals at home is a step in the right direction for achieving your wellness and financial goals. Number 24, always eat until satisfied. When we give our body the proper types of foods, we actually have a really accurate internal satiety system that makes any calorie counter or calorie tracker look completely outdated and ancient. Now, of course, this is a whole topic within itself, but incorporating the protein, the fat, and the fiber will help to achieve those natural satiety cues that help to have our body self-regulate. Number 24, when anxiety hits, journal or go for a walk. Walking can help to lower those serum cortisol levels, which of course is really important for making sure we can decrease that stress. I've also personally found that when journaling my thoughts, when I'm feeling particularly overloaded and particularly anxious, is really helpful for just relieving those stressors. In fact, surprisingly helpful. I really recommend trying that out next time you have an anxiety moment hit. Number 26, have a go-to breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Now, I've personally mastered one of each of these meals so that on certain busy days, I know that I can always make this meal really fast and really easily in order to decrease my stress levels, but still achieve my wellness goals. Making sure you have some type of go-to meal in each of these categories that you've mastered will ensure that you can stay on track even on the craziest of days. Number 27, incorporate intermittent fasting. Insulin resistance is a huge issue when it comes to fertility. And one of the main perks of intermittent fasting is that it actually helps with improving this insulin resistance and help make you more insulin sensitive instead. But it's extremely important that you use intermittent fasting properly It's not simply a form of calorie restriction, and it's also not a free-for-all to eat whatever you want during that fasted period. And that's why I actually created the complete intermittent fasting bundle with the 100+ recipes and the step-by-step process of helping you work through intermittent fasting and implement it into your life. If you want the details of the complete intermittent fasting bundle, I have it linked down in the description below. Number 28, go to bed 30 minutes earlier. Remember, stress is a really big issue when it comes to hormone balance. Poor sleep increases that stress hormone cortisol, and this can throw your hormones out of balance. It can shift your body into gaining weight around the belly, and of course, it's an issue when it comes to anxiety too. Adding just 30 minutes of sleep per day by just going to bed a little bit earlier can help to provide that rest that you need in order to decrease that cortisol naturally. Number 29, be outside more. Studies have actually found that being outside for at least 15 minutes per day in nature helps to significantly lower that serum or the blood level of cortisol. Remember, that stress hormone. And even more bonus points if you can also combine walking with being outside. Number 30, limit refined flours and sugars as much as humanly possible. This is the most important aspect when it comes to improving your insulin sensitivity. And insulin sensitivity is the keystone when it comes to weight loss and fertility. Refined flours and sugars cause that really massive spike in your blood glucose, which inherently causes that big spike in insulin too. And keeping that insulin higher throughout the day or constantly having things that contain the added sugars or the refined flours will make it so your body continues to secrete insulin and therefore become resistant to it. And these items include what we typically see everywhere, such as breads and pastas and sugar lattes and scones and cookies. Now, if you're interested on how you can improve those insulin levels by quitting sugar in 2 easy steps, I highly recommend this video next. Also, if you're new to my channel and you love the science-backed information, make sure you subscribe right here. Come out with new videos every Tuesday and Thursday. All right, guys, thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll see you in my next video.